Welcome back
to another episode of The Curious Consumer. I still like the name.
I hope you still like the name.
I still think it's a really good name.
Yeah, it's a good one. I'm excited about it.
Me too.
I have spent all week, every time that someone's like, oh my God, you launched a podcast, being like, I have no right.
I think I have every right.
And you're a man. And that's how the cookie crumbles.
We deserve podcasts.
We deserve podcasts. The people deserve podcasts. I'm just a girl with some takes, and you're just a guy with some takes, and therefore we're sharing them publicly. And if you want to listen, you listen. And if you don't want to listen,
You can watch.
and if you don't want to watch or listen,
You can read our newsletter.
listen to the new Lady Gaga.
Okay, I haven't listened to it yet.
You should.
Or,
I'm a big Gaga fan, I will say.
What about
I'm a
Bieber's new album?
I like it. I don't love it. So
Okay, well, it's not related to... Snacks.
Everything's related to snacks, actually. Everything is really like
Yummy.
If we want to go down the yummy, or like honestly, Lady Gaga's new song is like Halloween themed. Like that's a seasonal skew. Skew, for those who don't know.
Stock keeping unit.
It's a stock keeping unit, which is how we refer to like different lines, not even lines.
Individual products.
Yeah, it's how you refer to different products. So if you're like someone just launched a seasonal skew, it would be like Tabani came out with a pumpkin spice
Like we have
skew unit.
We have 2 energy drinks here, both from Bloom Nutrition.
Not sponsored, but if you want to sponsor,
Greg, hit us
we're
up.
very new.
Both of these would be considered different SKUs. Each of these different flavors. So
Yeah,
I have
different flavors.
I have cherry lime,
Strawberry watermelon.
Jenna's strawberry
It's
watermelon.
my first time trying it, and it's delicious, actually. I'm enjoying it a lot.
God, I love that sound. Oh, that's good.
It's really good.
I've been really into cherry things lately. One of my favorite seltzers is Hal's, their cherry one.
You love Howl's.
So good. Well, the bubbles are right. The bubbles are the right size. They kind of hurt, but like in a good way.
So they're right for you.
They're really punchy.
I love how one of your like favorite brands is like the least brandy brand. Like Howl's, like
It's
no one
owned
knows
by
what that is.
It's owned by a beverage distributor.
Yeah.
It's owned by Big Geyser.
It's like quite unsexy, but it gets
very
the job
unsexy.
done.
It's great. But now cherry season's over. It's now PSL season.
Pumpkin spice latte season. Hence, Nate just got his livery. We are at Nate's apartment, by the way.
Hello. This is the studio.
From Magnolia Bakery's banana pudding, pumpkin spice banana pudding, which is...
I'm so excited for this. This product, so Magnolia Bakery is known for their banana pudding. They released banana pudding in like a store-ready version in this frozen, ready-to-eat, like frozen banana pudding. And it took them 3 years to develop this. So it comes frozen, you can thaw it, you can eat it, you can refreeze it, rethaw it, and it maintains its texture.
That is amazing.
It is so good.
I'm really upset because we just unboxed it, so it's still frozen. And
It takes 2 hours.
I was like, we'll try it on camera, and then we would have
No,
to
we
wait
will not.
2 hours to try it. So we will eventually try it, and we'll record trying. I love a seasonal flavor. We were just talking about
Love
this,
it.
like seasonal skews. I think pumpkin spice gets a lot of shit. I love cinnamon, and so
Yeah.
I love pumpkin spice season, and I think it should be all year round. And I think it got a really bad rap because people just associate with pumpkin spice lattes, which like the girlies love a latte, a flavored
I love a
latte.
PSL. What are we talking
love
about?
PSL.
They're amazing.
I agree, but I think it was like associated mostly with Starbucks and like the Starbucks girly. It's like millennial core, like it's
Chuggy. I think it ended up being considered chuggy, but there's a lot of good pumpkin spice products out there.
Yeah.
We will be doing a roundup. We're getting a bunch
sure.
of products from a couple different brands. One of my favorite pumpkin spice products that I've had in the past few years, it might be this Magnolia one, but the one that I really liked, there's this Yerba, which is an energy drink.
Mm-hmm.
They had a pumpkin spice energy drink. This was in like
that's what we
2023.
love.
It was so good. I don't know if I would really
Same.
want more than like one a week. I want my pumpkin spice to feel a little bit more robust.
Yeah.
The dairy is nice, along with coffee and a pudding, in a baked good. Just like pumpkin spice flavored water, effectively, is a bit jarring, but it did kind of scratch that PSL itch.
Well, I used to work on Ora Bora, which is a sparkling water brand.
Yes.
And they had, and I'm forgetting what it was actually called, but it wasn't pumpkin spice. It was just like pumpkin flavored, which essentially was pumpkin spice.
Gourd.
But like, gourd flavored. And I kind of like that take of something instead of being just like pumpkin spice, which effectively is allspice, like nutmeg, cinnamon.
Right.
Being more like tasting more like the actual pumpkin. It only works for like very few items. I'm not sure sparkling water was one of them, although I actually did enjoy it. But yeah, I think that's
I
a
don't know
fun.
if ooh, like a sweet potato marshmallow flavored thing
Yeah.
would be good. Do you know who should do this? You know, Equip Food. They have that that bar.
That I won't eat because it's beef tallow, isn't it?
No, it's like every aspect of the cow is in that thing.
Hard pass for me.
I personally like it. I think the texture is kind of fun, but I
Yeah.
think that would lean itself really well to have like some fluff on top, and then it's like a sweet potato beef extrusion. But I think that'd be really good.
Sweet potato beef extrusion. And there are so many words that like don't belong together. Pitch it. Let's pitch it to them.
I'll email the founder.
But yeah, I mean, easy transition because on the PSL front, we got some news out of Starbucks this week, which should shock no one, but still is a little shocking.
It's a little shocking, I think.
Which is that Starbucks just launched protein cold foam. For those who don't know, cold foam is literally cold milk foam that Starbucks has been putting on top of their drinks for the past few years. And it grew a ton. It grew 23% year over year. I think a big piece of that is it is very visually, like it's aesthetic.
Yeah.
Seeing the cold foam kind of like on top of whatever your drink is, and you get like that nice swirl, but it's also very satisfying to drink. They're launching a protein cold foam, which adds 15 grams of protein per any grande cold beverage, which is a lot.
Wow, that's more than I would have assumed, because I feel like cold foam is mostly air.
I mean, I guess it's mostly milk. And milk is high protein, but it's so interesting to me that they are doing this. I feel like it makes a ton of sense, but I do feel like this would be the kind of thing that someone would say they're launching and it adds like 5 grams of protein, maybe.
Right. But 15 is substantial. That's like getting, you know, one of those protein shakes. A lot of them do have 15 grams of protein in them.
Yeah. So now, because they have this, and they also have protein boosted milk as an offering, which I'm assuming is like Fairlife.
Right.
Which on its own adds 12 to 16 grams of protein per grande. You can now have like a 30-gram of protein latte pretty easily because you get your base with the protein milk and you get the added cold foam on top, and it comes in fun flavors.
Of course
like,
it does.
The protein cold foam is going to come in banana, vanilla, sugar-free vanilla, chocolate, matcha, whatever. There's like matcha's actually kind of wild.
Oh, I'm gonna get that banana one.
Banana sounds so good.
Banana and coffee is so good.
And they have 2 seasonal flavors.
Of course they do.
Pumpkin and pecan.
Pecan.
So pecan. I say pecan on Sundays. I say pecan on other days.
Is it a Philly thing?
I'm a multifaceted woman. It could
be a
Philly thing.
It could be a Philly thing.
I don't think so. I think what it is it sounds nice to say pecan on its own, but I'm certain that it's pecan pie.
Oh, no, it's pecan pie, but it's pecan on its own. Yeah,
exactly.
100%.
There you go.
It's interesting because like Starbucks has also had protein shakes for a while. I think.
Really?
I remember they used to have some protein drinks at some point.
I believe it.
I used to get them. But essentially, I mean, they're not really known for smoothies.
I don't know a soul going into Starbucks and ordering a smoothie.
But you know where we can get smoothies now in New York?
Sick transition, Nate.
Erewhon.
How are we getting smoothies from Erewhon, which is based in LA and is a luxury grocer based in LA in New York?
Okay, so we're kind of getting an Erewhon here in New York. So what's happening is Ronnie Feig, pronounced it wrong on my TikTok. Ronnie Feig, the founder of Kith. I pronounced it Keith in my TikTok, and I got a lot of shit for that.
Well, what is Kith?
Kith is a luxury streetwear brand, clothing brand. So the founder of Kith is launching a members-only club. It's like $36,000 a year.
That's like a salary, actually.
Exactly. And part of the members club, there is going to be a Erewhon tonic bar.
What's a tonic bar?
A smoothie bar. They call their smoothies tonics. There'll probably be other drinks, but within the club, there'll be an Erewhon smoothie. Erewhon even posted on their Instagram saying, yes, we're coming to New York, and yes, you can get the smoothies on Uber Eats and Postmates, which will make it the most expensive smoothie in the city.
Of all time. Well, but that's the only way. So if you're not a member of this members only club.
So
You have
you-
to order it.
you
can't,
have to
go
order,
there.
yeah.
So for those who are unfamiliar with Erewhon smoothies, which probably very few people are unfamiliar with, they are very, very popular smoothies that now are known for collaborating with celebrities and include like really funky, wild ingredients. But they're typically like what, $18 to $25?
Yeah.
So then add on like the Uber Eats or Postmates, that's a 30-something dollar with tip,
$50
and
smoothie,
you
oh my
better be
God.
tipping for your freaking Erewhon smoothie because you know the condensation is getting everywhere.
It's going to melt.
It's gonna spit. Yeah, you're gonna get a $35 melted
Hailey Bieber smoothie.
But at least you
Good
can
luck.
hold the cup and say that you did. But it is interesting. Like, I mean, I do credit Erewhon a lot with bringing the cultural phenomenon of groceries to the masses. Like,
I think you're spot on. I think one of the reasons we have curious consumers is partially because like Erewhon got so big and people were talking about Erewhon. It became a scene, it became a talking point, and it became like a virtue signal too for these brands. I think people got interested in it because of that, but I think you're spot on about the Erewhon point, that it's made more people more aware of all these new brands.
it put all of these brands that each individually had a bit of like an aura around them of like elitism or like performative wellness all under one roof. And by doing that, like grocery became an experience as opposed to just like an accessory of like one product.
Yeah.
So it did a lot. And like,
Yeah.
you can hate on it all you want. I have been to an Erewhon. It was
Fine.
fine.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful for it in the sense that it got people talking about groceries in a way that's not just like, oh, this is food that I put in my body.
Speaking of brands, what's going on with KraftHeinz?
Tell me.
So I got notes here because there's a lot going on.
There's a lot.
So KraftHeinz, there was a rumor recently that they were going to be splitting up. They've only been KraftHeinz for like a decade, since 2015. They joined forces and they're separating into two independent brands. So they're separating into two different companies, Global Taste Elevation Company and North American Grocery Company.
This might be a dumb question, but like essentially Kraft and Heinz were both separate companies. A decade ago they merged and now they're splitting up. In my head, that just means now they're Kraft and Heinz again. That's not what's happening.
So basically there's the two companies that are splitting up. They're breaking it up into sauces, spreads, and seasonings,
Okay.
and then more staples and products like Lunchables and Kraft Mac and Cheese and Oscar Mayer will be in the other company. So North American Grocery Co. will have those staples, and then Global Taste Elevation Co. That is a mouthful.
I mean, don't go looking out for these names. I don't think it'll be like
No.
publicly like, yeah.
Publicly, all of these brands will still exist. Heinz, Philadelphia, Kraft Mac and Cheese, Lunchables, Oscar Mayer. They're all going to exist as they've always existed. This is more of a operational strategy. And Kellogg's did the same thing 2 years ago.
Right. They split up too.
They separated into Kellanova and W. Kellogg Co. W. Kellogg Co., I believe, is their cereal business, which they're selling to Ferrero Rocher.
So can you explain to me like why is this like a strategic move?
I think legacy CPG, look, they're all doing really fine. They're all still making billions. They're all still leading these categories, and they're still acquiring smaller brands. There's no world where these really disappear, but there's price sensitivity in the market now from consumers. There has been for many years, and now that the economy is sort of all over the place, people are very price conscious. And a lot of these businesses haven't been performing as well as the companies would like. So they're really trying to focus on optimizing each of these entities for the strengths that they have.
Okay.
So, KraftHeinz splitting up into this, just focusing on the sauces, condiments, spreads, just building that business and keeping it as strong as possible and focusing on what's working for those businesses and maybe not getting distracted by all this stuff. I wonder if it's a point of allocating resources, because if KraftHeinz, they have marketing budget, yes, they split it up, but like now the marketing budgets can be better dictated towards the right places, and same with R&D and acquisition budgets. And
I would assume it simplifies supply chain a lot. But it's so interesting. It's like you work your way to becoming this behemoth of a company that can acquire so many different kinds of companies, and then you get to a point where owning so many different companies,
it's actually a distraction. I'm sure it's also mostly from like a public markets perspective, where restructuring these portfolios creates a lot more financial focus. So like maybe KraftHeinz overall is not doing well, but like just Global Taste Elevation Co. can be doing well, and they can
Right.
more from a public markets and stock trading perspective, it makes it a lot easier. And like other companies have done this in the past recently too. Conagra did it. Ferrera is now doing it. General Mills has also been doing this. I think it's all in the mindset of focus and stronger market performance.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a lot of movement. Great CPG shakeup is upon us.
But interestingly, because we're talking about how KraftHeinz is making itself smaller, at the same time, PepsiCo seems to be buying every brand that's out there and pouring more and more resources into brands that are already under their portfolio. So what's going on with Pepsi this week?
So Pepsi just upped their stake in Celsius from around 5% to around 11%. And also Celsius acquired Rockstar for around $500 million from Pepsi to roll it up into their portfolio. And there's also some distribution news alongside this that Celsius gets to be a part of Pepsi's distribution network, and there's other synergies there. But
right. I mean, and that's how Celsius got distribution in the first place. But Celsius existed 15 years ago. Nobody knew anything about it. And when Pepsi scooped it up, suddenly you can't go into a grocery store without seeing Celsius.
Celsius is in I saw a stat that they're in 90-something% of stores. I think it was 98%.
Celsius just bought up Rockstar, which if you had said that phrase 8 years ago, we'd be like, how did someone so small acquire someone so big? Rockstar was a huge company. Now nobody knows they exist. I would say at least Gen Z and younger have probably never really heard of Rockstar. And something like Celsius is everywhere, and it's so interesting to see how it's shaken up, which leads us into our deep dive today.
Energy drinks are for the girls.
This is an energy drink.
It's a great energy drink.
For sure.
I mean, it's from Bloom.
So Bloom started as greens powder.
They're the #1 greens powder in the country.
Okay, so they beat AG1.
Yeah, exactly.
And now they have an energy drink because who doesn't? And so we're thinking a lot about energy drinks and caffeine. It's something that we're talking about all the time. And we were like, okay, we gotta learn some more about this space because it's been around for a long time. In fact, there have been energy drinks since 1962, and obviously before that, caffeine has existed in tea and coffee.
No way.
Since the Stone Age.
I don't believe you.
Actually,
What is matcha?
What is matcha? An ancient beverage. Contrary to popular belief, I feel like people think that matcha is this new thing. I'm
I saw somebody post that they're like, oh, matcha was nothing 3 years ago.
I'm so sorry.
What do you mean?
Matcha's an ancient Japanese, ritualistic beverage.
Matcha's been really popular for a while.
That's wild. Anyway, caffeine has existed forever.
Yes.
Energy drinks, as we know them,
Relatively new.
1962. I did some research. They started in Japan post-World War II. We have a Japanese culture that, and I mean, this still rings true, is very, very work focused. And it's how can we do more and more and more? Caffeine is a nice way to stay awake when you are working really, really hard. So they had a perfect market for it. And the main ingredient was something called taurine, which you will still find in most energy drinks. And taurine was originally from ox bile.
I thought it was bull semen.
So people said bull semen.
Yeah,
I think
wrong,
that
right?
was
Yeah. This has taurine in it.
It has taurine in it. So taurine, don't worry, we're not drinking ox bile or bull semen. We are drinking a synthetic version of ox bile. But taurine was discovered to be this secret weapon of an energy drink ingredient, and it's very effective. It was originally bottled in kind of the OG 5-hour energy.
No, I love those little bottles.
Yeah.
They still have small Red Bull bottles in Japan now that still sort of look something like that.
Yeah, so that started in Japan, many bottles. They were not enjoyed for the experience. It was this is just for the purpose of more energy. They didn't taste good. Apparently they tasted and smelled like cough syrup. Gross. But they got the job done. Enough that some guy from Austria goes to Japan, discovers it, and is like, this cured my jet lag. Crazy. Brings it back to Austria, and he ends up launching Red Bull there. So Red Bull is the OG branded energy drink, and it's called that because taurine is in it, ox bile / bull semen. Now we know. It wasn't until 97 actually that Red Bull entered the US market, but they just blew up. Like they knew marketing so well.
Well, I mean, at this point it's a marketing company more than anything.
Yeah. I mean, even in 97 it was a marketing company more than anything. They entered really strategically through colleges. I think a lot of people are familiar with their ambassador program. So it was Red Bull took off. Monster comes later.
Yep.
And this is so crazy. In 2003, Monster's annual revenue was $50 million. That was like when they launched. Then 8 years later, it's 8.7 billion. Like what that is crazy. Rockstar launches in 2001. 5 Hour Energy launched in 2004. So this was like early 2000s was like energy drinks.
We're caffeinated.
We're we're taurine. And Red Bull's success kind of created this like template of caffeine plus taurine.
Especially geared towards a male audience in particular.
For male audience, for performance athletes, there was a lot like Red Bull gives you wings, obviously. Like they sponsored a ton of athletes, very like more premium positioning.
Yeah.
And that was kind of how energy drinks took off.
It's crazy.
Which is it's
wild. Not that long ago.
No.
Brands are still around.
Yes.
Basically in the same. Red Bull really hasn't changed much.
No. I would say like the biggest change is, and we'll get into this more, positioning, one.
Yeah.
And somewhat formula, as in sugar-free is like one of the biggest call outs now, because Red Bull had a ton of sugar, still has a ton of sugar in their like normal format. Other thing that's interesting, if you go to any convenience store, you see that there's like the Red Bull can is that like 8.5 ounce like little guy. Monster came out as a monster, and this was like their positioning.
Giant.
The big.
Oh my God.
16 ounce like big boy.
Yeah.
And then we have something like this, which
we can thank Celsius for this one.
We can thank Celsius for this one. And what I think is so interesting is 12 ounces is actually standard for like a normal soda can. Yeah. But this like tall skinny is communicating to us skinny.
Yeah.
And that's a lot about the messaging that had Celsius take off. So I'll let you go in there.
So yeah, Celsius was started in 2004. And pretty much from the start, it was really positioned as a weight loss drink. It said in big letters, burns calories, boosts metabolism. It wasn't really positioned as this healthy energy drink. It was positioned as a weight loss drink.
Right. It's they say that it was specifically formulated to turn on thermogenesis, which is a process that boosts your body's metabolic rate.
They've gotten rid of all this since then. But Celsius for a long time, they've been through a couple owners. They went public.
They went public in 2017. So they pivoted before. They pivoted in 2012 is when they pivoted more from broad energy drink, where they were just getting absolutely lost in this like mix of competitors, to specifically like the fitness community, not extreme athletes, like the gym goer.
And around this time too is when like the Soul Cycles and let's say a lot of the girlies were going to these classes, and it was a lot of this was positioned especially towards younger women, and Celsius was fitting in very nicely. And it was around, I have the sale data from 2012 to 2024. In 2012, they were doing $8 million in annual revenue. By 2015, they were doubling that.
Insane.
By 2019, they were doing $75 million. And then in 2020, this is when things really took off. They were doing $130 million in annual sales. And today they're doing well over $1 billion.
Well over $1 billion.
They are doing over 3 52-week dollar sales. They are the number 3 energy drink brand in the country right now, under Red Bull and Monster.
Which is crazy. And it's only growing. And I think that's really interesting too, because I think it felt like a boom. I think it felt like
it
2020, which we're going to keep coming back to. COVID is so tied to every trend we see in wellness. That's when energy drinks, I think, kind of like started to have their second wave, I would say. Like obviously early 2000s is when they all exploded. It was huge. Second wave energy drinks, I kind of think we're in our third wave right now, but second wave is like beginning of 2020. Some of the like Celsius, I would say, is one of the first to kind of come out of the woodworks and be like, this more for your fitness and well-being, not like
Not just you're on your truck driver and you're on the road for 18
Exactly.
hours. Like,
not as much about like the grind,
it's more
the
accessible.
work grind, more about like
Yeah.
fitness. And COVID has a lot to do with that because people just cared a lot more about their general wellness. But what's interesting is I think it's only continuing now. And I would say what that really is also still goes back to Red Bull, which is, I don't know what it is about energy drinks, but they are so tied to influencers and social media and like in a way that I don't think other snacks or bevs are.
And I think one of the main reasons is because it's so habitual.
Yes, absolutely.
This is why coffee is such a big thing. I mean, coffee's coffee and tea, the OG energy drinks. But the reason, like energy drinks in particular, not everyone likes coffee, not everyone loves tea. But energy drinks, they're fun, they're bright, they're colorful, they're fruity. That's why like a lot of Starbucks drinks are cold and have a bunch of inclusions in it because people don't really want water.
I think we all just crave juice, actually.
God, I love
and
juice.
We just want like a different way to drink juice.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, this is juice, but it has 0 sugar and it makes me have more energy and like whatever it is.
But I think the habitual nature of the energy drink, the fact that you drink it every morning or multiple times a day, makes it so easy to tie to influencers. Also, I think, again, thanks to Red Bull, it ties it to like energy gives you a better life. It makes you perform better. It makes you happier, whatever it is. I think something too about like Celsius positioning and Bloom's positioning is that I feel like it's also made energy drinks more accessible to a wider audience too, who might be put off by
like masculine branding
or even like this will burn fat branding.
I actually think Celsius was the this will burn fat brand.
Like it was, but that wasn't working for them.
Right. Yeah. More accessible could also reframe, be more exploitative. Like, yes, now women feel represented because there are pastel colors in the energy drink aisle. But also, I kind of think it's just like exploitative. Like, it's like, oh, here's another audience we can try and capture.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And that's what's really interesting is like Alani Nu, which we actually haven't even really touched on, other than mentioning that Celsius bought Alani Nu.
Yep, couple bill.
For a couple bill. And actually, a lot of Celsius's growth has been attributed recently to Alani Nu. Their retail sales surged 129% year over year in the past year, which is crazy.
But Alani still only controls about under 5% of the market right now. But it's going up year over year.
It's going up. And Alani Nu, I think, reached women even more than Celsius did and continues to reach women.
Yeah, I do think that was like one of the biggest shifts in energy in energy drinks is, hey, we're going to position this for a much bigger audience.
That was a huge turning point. And it's been really interesting, like watching that trickle down from like these energy drinks are catering to women for the most part to now catering to young women specifically, I would say.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Alani Nu again, it's not just feminine, it's like very playful.
It's youthful.
And you're seeing it in like, if you are at all on TikTok and watching like girls in college do Get Ready With Me, they are drinking an Alani Nu. But what's really interesting to me is it's just positioning. Like I was trying to get granular with this and be like, okay, maybe the ingredients are different because they're claiming that they are more suited for women, or they're not claiming that, but like that's the positioning.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so maybe it's more like of certain ingredients. No, it is almost identical, the ingredient label to sugar-free Red Bull. I will say it's sugar-free. For some reason, the aesthetic gives this vibe of like more natural. It's not. I actually discovered Alani Nu a few years ago from a fitness YouTuber I watch and love. Her name is Whitney Simmons. And like she was talking about them a lot. I think she has her own flavor with them now. That's how they took off. They were actually started by a female fitness guru and it was marketed. And this is also an interesting part of the energy drink like timeline, I guess, is switching from being just like, as we said, like for truck drivers, whatever, to specifically not just for fitness, but for as a pre-workout. Like this like rebrand is like, this is a pre-workout. Alani Nu definitely catered positioning wise to younger women, gives this like aura of health, but it is a Red Bull. They have way more fun flavors, way prettier colors.
Effectively.
I think some like Celsius did a good job of being like, this is more than just an energy drink. It's also all of these vitamins and whatever. Red Bull also has vitamin B. Like Red Bull also has pantothenic acid, which is another kind of vitamin B.
So does this.
Like they all have almost the same.
B6 and B12.
Yes, because that's B6 and B12 also are energizing ingredients. So they've been included on the labels of like the OG energy drinks, but they weren't advertised. Like Red Bull wasn't saying this is also a like micronutrient supplement in some way, but the Alani Nus and the Celsiuses of the world are, and it's really effective. I kind of feel like Celsius buying Alani Nu has allowed Celsius to go back to more masculine positioning, because they like we're reaching women, and then acquire Alani Nu. They're like, okay, that's the one for the girls. Now we're gonna go back to like our more masculine branding so that we can own the whole market.
Right. If they want to better compete with Monster and Red Bull, they need to be masculine. They need to have some part of them be a little bit more of that masculine energy.
I just never thought I would be thinking this much about gendered packaging, but it's very real. It's very real. I do think the energy drink market, like visually, is so split. Like if you go into a convenience store and you look at the energy drink aisle, like it is like for women, for men. Like it is so visual to me.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah. And what's funny is like they're all arguably
not arguably. Same. I looked at the ingredient labels. They are the same.
Yeah.
They're literally the same.
It's amazing. And like
we're all suckers.
Yeah.
Myself included.
This is why you should be curious.
Get curious. Learn that there is taurine in both Red Bull and Bloom and Alani Nu, and they're just packaged differently.
Mm-hmm.
Same amount of caffeine. The like extra added nutrients are in both. In fact, Red Bull had more vitamin B6, I think, than Alani Nu. So if that's really what you care about, just go drink a sugar-free Red Bull. It's basically the same. Marketing is working.
Marketing works.
Marketing works. Hot take.
I think some other brands we should talk about.
Yeah.
Yerba Madre, formerly Yuaki. They're an energy drink too. There's a ton of caffeine in there. It's a very, people say clean energy. I don't think your body really knows the difference, but it's a very clean energy brand. That was its whole shtick.
When you think of Yerba Mate, you are envisioning the brand that we are talking about.
Yellow
the
can.
Yellow can. I feel like everyone knew it.
It's amazing what they did for Yerba Mate.
I think they did really well and are doing really well because of the natural caffeine appeal. It's a natural caffeine source. People claim that it doesn't give you as much of a crash, which is entirely possible. And it's growing a lot. Apparently 6% CAGR and 1.3 billion by 2035 in the US. I do think that like natural energy is the next frontier.
Yeah, I think I have another one. So I have some sales data, 52-week sales data, again, from this past spring. But one of the leading brands here is Campbell Soup Company.
What?
Energy drinks? They did 230 million. What brand do you think they own that has an energy drink? V8.
No way.
V8 energy drink is assuming based off of this, because it's probably their only energy drink brand, does 230 million a year.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's on here. It's just above Prime Hydration, which did 32, but it's on the decline. Oh my God, it's like seriously, it's down 70%.
Do they even still
year over year?
An energy version of V8?
I don't know.
That's super interesting.
Ghost is on here. Nutrabolt.
Ghost is an interesting one.
Ghost is an interesting one. Nutrabolt's an interesting one, which is they make Bloom. They took a big stake in Bloom, the entire company, not just energy. They also make C4, which is a pretty popular one, and that C4 and Ghost have both gained a lot of traction. One, I think a lot from the gamer crowd, similar to G Fuel, but also because of their licensing deals, because they had a lot of licensing deals with candy companies.
Yes.
The Ghost Swedish Fish one, pretty good.
Well, Ghost is owned by Keurig Dr. Pepper.
KDP, baby.
He bought Ghost recently in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There were a lot of acquisitions in energy drinks, like Celsius bought Alani Nu.
And Rockstar.
Monster bought Bang relatively recently.
Tell me about Bang Energy.
I'll tell you about Bang Energy. So Bang Energy, I feel like Bang Energy actually was like the COVID energy drink. Like that is when it really, really took off. Bang launched under this very interesting. Was he the founder or just the CEO?
I think he was the founder.
A man who was really wild. They really won market share. One with weird, fun, cool flavors like rainbow unicorn or something. I can't remember what it was, but they had like weird, fun flavors. The other thing they did was they were some of the OGs to make like pretty aggressive health claims. So they said that they had like super creatine and lots of these like we are a pre-workout, like we are for like real fitness bros. So the way they were able to make these claims, and this is also super interesting, is they marketed as a supplement as opposed to a like food or beverage, FDA regulated food or beverage.
Right.
This is a podcast in and of itself, but supplements are not really regulated in the US. So when you are labeled as a dietary supplement, your nutrition label is different. It's not regulated in the same way. And you can make all sorts of claims without really any oversight, which is really interesting.
Concerning. Very concerning.
Concerning. And Monster ended up suing Bing for some of these like false advertising claims, specifically under the super creatine supplement claim. And Monster won. It was classified as a dietary supplement until 2013, and then it switched to the conventional food classification largely due to this lawsuit. And now it has to have like a nutrition facts label as opposed to supplement facts, which is what a supplement can be. Super interesting that Monster ended up buying Bing out of bankruptcy in a fire sale. And on this like supplement versus food classification, when we were at Newtopia, actually, we tried a new beverage called Slacka, and it was marketed as like a curb your cravings, like kind of GLP-1 adjacent beverage. But what caught my attention was that it said it was a dietary supplement, and I was like, that's really interesting. And I have since learned that that allows you to, like, it's a loophole basically in regulation. It also for them might be because they include a ingredient,
you got it.
Paraxanthine, which is a derivative of caffeine and has a 25% shorter half-life. So you can drink it later in the day and it apparently won't affect your sleep quality as much. But I think what it is, it's just, there's not like that much research around this yet.
Right.
So it's like relatively new energy ingredient. But I'm very curious to see if more brands start adopting ingredients like paraxanthine, or if they, you know, some of these other ingredients I think are kind of interesting, or these like just lower caffeine content generally.
Right. And I think incorporating lower caffeine is the route I would take right now, because Slack, it was a great product. It's just they're going to have a hard time educating the consumer on what the hell is happening.
What is paraxanthine?
There, and I think saying, hey, we have 80 to 90 milligrams of caffeine rather than like we have this crazy ingredient is a bit of an easier push. Though there's this brand called Update, which has
the same ingredient.
Also a great product. Kim Kardashian drinks it. It's been in her home and her posts. But again, like, it's hard to educate the consumer on something so new. Even if you can explain it simply, if there's a complicated term and there's like 3 seconds more thought somebody has to do, probably not going to do it.
You're not going to get it.
I'm probably not going to do it, and I'm an educated consumer.
Yes. I almost want like an image of a cup of coffee and it's like a cup and a half or whatever.
Yeah.
Because that's like the baseline. Like people know when they drink a cup of coffee or a shot of espresso, like what it does to them.
They know what they get.
But the average consumer, I don't think knows that like 200 milligrams is a lot. It's crazy. A typical cup of coffee is what, 80? Is that accurate?
I think it's about 80.
No one actually really knows how much is in coffee. Like Starbucks says that they have like a certain number of milligrams of caffeine, but each brew is like probably a little different.
Yeah.
And we're all probably having actually a lot more caffeine than we realize.
Probably. But energy drinks, that's formulated.
It's formulated, but it's not regulated in the sense that you actually don't need to list on the can how much caffeine is in it. Like federally, you don't. Their distributors now make it pretty challenging to gain distribution without having the amount of caffeine on the label.
Probably because people have been hurt.
FDA is like, you don't need it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I will say, my father is a cardiologist, and I asked him to comment on energy drinks. And he said that patients do come to him after an energy drink has precipitated ready for this, supraventricular tachycardia, are you proud of me, Dad? Or atrial fibrillation, which required an ER visit. So people find out, in normal people terms, that their heart has an irregular heartbeat in some way after having too much caffeine.
That's insane.
He said excessive consumption will be dangerous for everyone. You can overdose on caffeine. Those were his parting words. So don't forget that you can overdose on caffeine. But yeah, I mean, 300 milligrams in a Monster is really, really wild. These more like fitness positioned drinks now, I would say, are relatively lower, usually around 200, which is still really high.
The other side of it too is like a lot of these energy drinks now have L-theanine in it.
Yes.
To reduce shakes.
Jitters. Yeah. Theanine is a non-protein amino acid. So it has the structure of an amino acid, but it isn't actually used as like a building block to make proteins. And it was found in tea. It exists in green tea, I think, is like where you can find like the highest concentration of L-theanine, but it's found in nearly all teas.
Yeah. And I think that's why matcha and just green tea in general is so popular in general, but also really popular recently, and why people like it over coffee is because it has a high concentration of L-theanine naturally, which is why people are like, oh, I like matcha because it doesn't make me like as shaky or anxious. Jittery. It's like, well, yeah, because it has the L-theanine piece of it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. There have been some studies around like how L-theanine helps with mental focus too.
Yeah. You can take it just as a pill.
Yeah.
Doesn't even need a bit. Most energy drinks now, especially in this like Bloom Celsius realm, have L-theanine added to it.
Which is interesting. So we have this paraxanthine. Someone's going to destroy me for saying that the way I am. Another interesting ingredient is cascara, which we saw also at Newtopia, which was a trade show. I feel the need to keep saying that because Newtopia doesn't sound anything real. Huxley is a new energy drink that is also lower caffeine. And we talked to the founder and he was saying like, we're taking a big bet that lower caffeine is like the new thing in energy drinks.
Yeah.
And the way they're deriving their caffeine is from the husk around the coffee bean, which is called cascara. And it's usually a waste product. So like they take the coffee bean, it's used for coffee, but cascara is...
I have a vodka in that bar cabinet that's made from cascara.
That's really cool.
Called Good Vodka. It's really...
Is it good vodka?
It's really good vodka.
So does it have caffeine in it?
No.
Okay.
I think that's...
Is it a Four Loko?
Oh my God. Bring back OG Four Loko.
Please don't. Please don't. High school students everywhere.
Oh my God. The peach one was delicious.
Will not be well. But I do think that's a really interesting... I mean, it's obviously got this sustainability component because otherwise would have been a waste product. So that's really interesting that they're using that as like the caffeine source, but also the lower caffeine content. And actually, honestly, Huxley represents a lot of where I think the energy drink market is going, which is just like a more like natural, like it's made with juice. I think it knows its audience really well. So I'll be really curious to see how Huxley does. I think they're still pretty much in the Midwest.
Yeah, they're still pretty new. They're definitely making a bigger push. They're rebranding a little bit. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that is sort of that next wave of energy drinks like Bloom and a lot of these like, you know, Celsius, Gorgie. They're not going anywhere.
Right.
They'll still be very popular. Red Bull's still very popular. People still want their caffeine. I think there's room for this lower caffeine lineup of energy drinks.
Absolutely. And that has also been proven by, we've seen 2 launches from really big brands recently. Liquid Death is one of them. Liquid Death came out with an energy drink.
Yep, 100 milligrams caffeine.
100 milligrams caffeine, which again, average is like 200, 250. So that's half that.
And in their press release, they did mention like purposefully doing lower caffeine.
Yeah, so that's one. And then this past week, well, it's actually interesting. Everyone was like, Liquid IV just launched an energy drink. Liquid IV had an energy, not an energy drink, a powder, had an energy SKU. We know what SKU means. Had an energy SKU, but it was very ill positioned. It was like Liquid IV hydration powder, and there's like really tiny on the bottom, plus energy.
Yeah, it was not clear.
I had a friend give it to me recently, and she was like, because we were in the Poconos and we ran out of coffee, and like the closest grocery store was really far away, and I was like, I'm gonna be a terrible person all day. And she was like, no, I have Liquid IV plus energy, like just take this. And I was like, that doesn't have caffeine. I was like, I would know if Liquid IV had an energy SKU, and they do, and it had 100 milligrams. And I was like, when was it took me so long to find out how much caffeine was in that. But they have their single serve powdered packets. Everyone knows Liquid IV as a hydration supplement, so electrolyte powder. And they've had an energy one that has 100 milligrams of caffeine, but they didn't position it as an energy drink.
No.
And now they just came out with, and we can show you both like the before and after, basically. Their new sugar-free energy line
Multiply.
is called the Energy Multiplier, as opposed to the Hydration Multiplier plus Energy. So they're also, I would argue,
It's
going
better
kind of
than-
all in on energy. Like they are making that like front and center.
Again, it's really habitual. It's like so easy to incorporate into somebody's day, and it's something somebody is 1,000% going to take
Yeah.
every day and potentially multiple times a day. Where a hydration powder,
Well, also habitual.
very habitual, but I think it's less habitual.
You don't have
than it.
withdrawals if you don't if you don't have your liquid IV hydration powder. You're not going through like potassium withdrawals. But if you
Exactly.
if you don't have your liquid IV energy, you're gonna have caffeine withdrawals.
Don't talk to me before my coffee.
Or my liquid IV energy
Maybe that's what we
multiplier.
name this podcast. Don't talk to me
before I
before
have
my
my
coffee.
That's cute. Yeah, we didn't even
Celsius.
really say how like it's for the girls. Before I have my Celsius.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's a good one. But I think that is like an interesting demonstration
Yeah.
of how liquid IV is going into the energy movement as well.
But not cans, despite them teasing this product as a canned, and everyone was like, they're coming out with a canned energy drink, and like publications were already saying and very confidently saying, no, they're launching a canned energy drink. Then they're like, psych, we're just rebranding
More
a
powders.
product that we already have.
Yeah. But what is cool about these powdered versions, and like what I like about like a pre-workout powder,
Yeah.
is you can control how much caffeine is in it really easily. So like if you're a 200 milligram person, you can have 2 packets.
Sachets.
Sachets. Not to be confused with sachet.
Sachet.
Sachet away.
I've had energy drink powder for a while now through a brand called Salud.
Yes.
So
I thought
Salud-
they were also electrolytes though.
So they have electrolytes, they have energy, and they have sleep. And recently they just launched greens, but their energy is a gray sachet, and it's like a off-white beige for their regular hydration one. So like it's really like I have in my pantry, and it's really easy to be like, oh yeah, I have. the
How many
energy ones.
milligrams is in that?
I think it's pushing 200.
Okay, so that's another like high caffeine.
Yeah, it's high caffeine.
Yeah. So I think the next wave of energy looks like more of these like alternative ingredients, like the yerba mates.
Yeah, I think that's gonna get bigger.
The cascaras. I think it looks like lower caffeine as well, and maybe also these different formats. So like more powder as opposed to just
Gummies.
gummies for sure. I have had caffeine gummies actually. I
Yeah.
cannot remember the brand.
Unfortunately, I don't think for me they're effective. They might be, and I'm just super tolerant.
I think you absorb, like caffeine's absorbed differently when you
Yeah.
eat it versus drink it. So when you're eating your caffeinated chips, you might be experiencing that a little bit differently. I think it hits the bloodstream slower
Yeah.
than when you drink it, is my understanding.
We're putting caffeine in bars.
Wouldn't even say that.
Bold bars.
Yeah, you like Bold Bars.
I like Bold Bar.
Again, I like drinking my caffeine and
No,
eating my food.
I prefer drinking caffeine. I love the shots of caffeine. 5 Hour Energy is still one of the leading brands.
Still kicking.
Still kicking. They released a birthday cake flavor, which
I want to try
I
it.
want to try it, right?
But I want to try it in a, like, I don't want just a shot.
Yeah.
I
Do
want
you-
to sip on it.
Do you know what
slowly.
shot I really miss of caffeine? The Forto coffee shots. They would look like mini to-go coffee cups, but they're like
little
shots of
espresso?
coffee. Yeah.
That's so fun.
So good.
But I like to like savor. I like to savor.
Yeah.
But
That's why I
yeah.
like the blooms. That's why I like the Celsiuses.
My other prediction. So Alani Nu also came out with, we should have mentioned this too, in the fact that when we're talking about lower caffeine, Alani Nu came out with a mini, which I've been seeing a lot more and
Yeah.
more of. There's a mini can of Alani Nu.
I'm surprised Celsius hasn't done a
I'm
mini.
surprised Celsius hasn't. But what I think is going to happen is kind of like the iPhone effect. Like I think it's going to get smaller and smaller until Alani Nu is going to come out with a shot. It's going to be essentially 5 Hour Energy, but for
Yeah.
the girls. And that's going to take off. And then in iPhone fashion, they'll be like, oh, we went too small. Now we'll get big again. And that's what innovation.
Celsius has bigger cans with more caffeine.
Celsius has chunkier cans,
Chunkier
yeah,
cans,
and they're
16
more
ounce.
masculine. Also,
Yeah.
the branding of the bigger one, even the colors are different, and it feels a bit more masculine.
I could see them also now using, and potentially Rockstar now too, but using Alani as like a testing ground for new formats.
Yes.
With the mini cans and eventually probably with a shot. Celsius also they also have powders. They've had powders for a while.
Yeah.
But that's like not a.
Hasn't taken off in the same way.
When I was younger, because there was a lot of rhetoric when I was a kid. I don't I mean, we were kids at the same time. I don't know if you had this rhetoric in your house, but I always found that like the rhetoric was like Red Bull will like rot your teeth and it'll kill you.
Yes.
But then I'm like, okay, but I'm like, this is like no difference.
The difference, well, I think the rot your teeth was
sugar.
Red Bull had so much sugar.
So much sugar.
Yeah, these don't have sugar anymore, which that is moving in the right direction. Even if you don't feel that positively about artificial sweeteners, no one should be drinking 40 grams of sugar.
Energy drink market is really interesting.
Yes.
It's still arguably in its infancy, and I'm very curious to see where we go from here, because we're seeing a lot of changes. We're seeing a lot of acquisitions and mergers and brands that have been on the market for a while starting to take up market share. So we'll see where this all goes. I don't think they're going away, just like coffee's not going away, matcha's not going away. All this stuff is not replacing one the other. They're all sort of coexisting in really interesting ways. So we'll see what happens.
I was just picturing like, you know, the coexist like bumper sticker with like all the relations on it. But it's like the
Celsius,
C.
C4.
There's a lot to be said about energy drinks because there's a lot to be said about everything. It's a really interesting market, and I was excited to learn more about like its origins too.
The history is really interesting, and I didn't realize like. I knew Red Bull was a very prominent brand. I didn't realize like how influential that brand is.
It was the brand.
It's insane how much market cap they've built, like beyond their own. They are the reason.
They are
for this
the energy drink
space.
category. Yeah.
But next week, we're going to talk about the opposite of energy drinks, the commodification of sleep.
Yeah, and there's so much to be said.
It's surprisingly aligned with similar trends, but we're going to get into it, so like and subscribe.
Stay tuned.
Stay curious, friends.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Energy
Oh my
drink
God.
cheers?
Oh, I'm empty. I got the last bit. Thanks all. Find us online. Bye.